How you doing? Homestead Ed here. So today what I want to do is sprout some wheat. And this is very easy to do. What you need is something to put the wheat in to get it going. And you could buy these things online, but they're so easy to make. So I'm going to show you how to make one just out of a mason jar. If you got like, I'm using a quart-size mason jar. You got a mason jar laying around with the ring, a piece of screen, and some kind of glue, because we're going to cut that screen out. We're going to put it in this ring and glue it in there. So you want some kind of glue. I'm using Goop. I love this stuff. But you could use whatever you want as long as it's some kind of waterproof glue that's not going to, deteriorate when it gets wet. Anyhow, give me a minute. We'll turn the camera back on and I'll show you how we put this thing together. Okay, so I want to show you how simple this is. I cut one piece of screen out already. But basically what you're going to do is take this screen. What we want to do with this is we want to glue this piece of screen inside this ring. So here's a piece that I had cut out already. And you want to leave a little bit of meat on there, so you can get a nice seal when you glue it in there. So what I find the easiest way to do this is you just take the screen and place it like this and then cut around it. If you had another person to hold it, that would be fantastic. If not, what I do is I basically cut it down a little bit at a time, get it close to the shape, and that makes it easier to deal with if it's just you. And that's about all we need to do with the screen. So I got my piece of screen here that I had cut out before, and what I'm going to do is glue it in there. I just put some paper towel down here so I don't get glue on the tablecloth. And I like using this Goop. The problem with this is to try to squeeze the Goop in there is very difficult. So I'm going to use just a plastic fork. You could use a popsicle stick or whatever. And I put some of my glue on there. And I'm going to take this and spread it around. I want to get it mainly on the lid, on the rim there. It doesn't matter all that much, but you just don't want to get it on the threads where, the jar tightens up. And what I'm going to show you tomorrow, so once we make this thing, I'm going to show you how to sprout grain. Now, grain is fantastic. I mean, it's basically what you need to survive. And it's very, very easy to sprout. You could use the sprouts, just eat them right there. You could use them for the sugar content. You could dry them out and make beer. When you see like in beer, it's hops and grain. Well, if you sprout your grain, that brings all the sugar out in it, and then you could use that to make your beer. So I hope you get the picture, the point of all of this. You just get that on there. I'm wiping that bit off of there. I'm going to take my screen and press it in there nice. And then we just need to let this dry. And once this dries, we're going to have a nice little homemade grain sprouter. So here we go. I've got my little wheat sprouter all set up. Came out nice, very easy to do. And I'm ready to start sprouting some wheat. Now what I want to do, it's a little difficult with this, this faucet runs really hot. What I want to do is I want to get some nice warm water in there, so I was just trying to set the temperature good for that. I want it warm, not hot. I don't want to cook my wheat, I just want to get it nice and warm, and we're going to rinse it off a little bit, and then we're going to let it soak. And what I'm doing tonight, I'm just going to do about a half a cup of wheat in there. This is hard red wheat. You could do this, you could sprout all kinds of different things. But what we're doing tonight is wheat. So I'm going to get my water going again. And just about with everything I do, I always say, you like to make it like a baby's bath, you know? So what I want, I want it warm, but I don't want it too hot. Now, I don't know how the heck I'm going to do this with one hand. This would be better if I saved the cap. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just running some water in there. I'm going to shake it up a bit. I'm going to pour that water off. Trying not to pour my wheat kernels off in it. And this part is really just to clean out some of the debris, if there's any dead bugs or anything in there. Once again, I'll shake it up a bit and pour that off. Now I'm going to just check my water temperature. It's nice. It's warm. I would say it's probably about 95 degrees or so. I'm going to fill this up. And I'm going to let this wheat sit. I'm going to let it just sit there in the water for about 9 hours. Then we'll come back. I'll rinse it off. I'll show you why we use the strainer. The next time after it sits, I'm going to actually cover it. But after it sits, we're going to rinse it off again. We're going to strain it out. And then we're going to sprout some wheat. And we're going to have to let this sit for, I'd say, about 9 hours. Okay, so here's my grain, my wheat seeds. It's been sitting there for about 9 hours soaking. So I'm just about ready. I'm going to dump it out and rinse it out a bit. And that's what makes this little seed germinator nice. So I could just pour it right out, give it a shake, and just pour it right back in and mix it up. So I'm going to rinse it off good. Oh, looks like that water's getting a little too hot. Dump it out again. That's good. And just rinse it off nice. And then we're done. As far as this, I'm going to pour this water off. I want to leave it wet. I'm just going to place it here on the side. And that's about all I got to do. Tomorrow morning we should see a bunch of sprouts. Let me just shake this up a bit. So 9 hours soaking, and I would say tomorrow morning we're going to see a bunch of sprouts starting in there. Well, I'll show you in the morning. You can see our wheat berries are starting to sprout here. You see all those little white spots coming out of them? That's them sprouting. If you're going to use this for beer or to make flour for bread, this would be a good time to pull them out and start drying them off. I want to use them to put on top of a salad, so I'm going to rinse them down again and let them sprout a little bit more. Here we are. I got these wheat berries sprouted nice. This is exactly the way I want them for putting on top of a salad or just eating right out of there. So they're not sprouted all that much, but this is when they're nice and tasty and full of nutrition. If you want to stop this now, you stick it in the fridge. The best thing to do, if you take it at this stage, put it in like a Ziploc bag and stick it in the fridge, it won't sprout much more than this, and it'll last for about up to a week. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.